So we've got some good news and some bad news. Good news, it's still all good, nothing broke. The bad news is not supposed to sound like that. So let's take a look at what's wrong. So before I even take this apart, luckily I actually already know what's wrong with it. But basically what happened is these motor screws backed out. So all I gotta do is tighten them back up, and I'm gonna put a bunch of Loctite on there as well. So now that I took off the wheel, I can take off the rest of the drivetrain, and it's pretty simple. It's just these 5 screws down here, and then this whole plate comes off, and this other plate comes off as well, and you'll see that in a second. Okay, so now we just gotta get these 4 more screws out, and then this plate holds on the entire rest of the motor, which I didn't design it. That's all I gotta say. Check this guys out. I'm learning from my mistakes. Yes, there we go. No stripped out. Let's see if I was correct. Yep. Those screws are not in there anymore, and that ain't good. So you can see here. Yeah, so I took the screws out, and you can see that's exactly what was happening. So pretty simple fix. Just have to put some Loctite on these screws here, and I'll be right back on the road. Whoops. So as you can see, I have completely covered this thread locker. So hopefully that's going to be good. And I don't know if this speed stick stuff is any good at all. What is it called? Loctite stick? I have no idea. I have no idea if this is any good. But we're about to find out. All right, let's put these screws back in here. Always thread them in by hand, of course. See, this one's giving me trouble. There we go. Okay. Now this one's giving me trouble. They're all threaded in my hand. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Okay. That's probably why they never got torqued very well in the first place. Too busy making YouTube videos. So this one didn't need nearly as much Loctite because I've never had a problem with these ones backing out. I don't understand why the other ones were backing out so easily. All right, so here you see my face right here. This is a really awkward angle. So what we got here is, that's the backlash. You can't even see it. It's this gear hitting this gear. And it's literally invisible to the eye. If I rotate it a little bit, now maybe you can see it. There you go. So what that is this is the highest, this is the closest point where the gears are the closest, which is why that here you can see the backlash is a little different. So I basically had to go around the entire gear and make sure that there's backlash all the way around this larger gear. So now that we've set the backlash all nicely, got one more step before we put it all back together here. And I just hit my tripod because it's very cramped here. And so I'm going to be putting this all over the gear mesh, and that's just going to take a lot of time, and you guys don't want to watch it, I already know. So I found that this is just about the perfect amount of grease. Any more and you're just wasting it because it's going to get squirted out everywhere, specifically out of these holes if you really fill it up. But usually it actually comes out of the motor here because there's a little bit of a gap right in there and there. Okay, so now that we've got this all put together, go ahead and put this top plate back on. Ew, I hate that noise, but I did clean everything. It's very important to clean all the mating surfaces. You can see, sorry, I just touched the mic. You can see here, I didn't clean these because they are not mating, but all of this, it's all clean. I don't know why it always makes that noise. It's just, eek. Yuck. So these ones always thread in nice and easily. So just thread them all in by hand, and now we can just go ahead and tighten them up. So now we're putting a tiny bit of grease here, and that is just going to keep this surface here from getting too much more worn out than it already is. And you can see that there's definitely a little bit of scoring, but it's very minimal, and it's because I always put a little bit of this grease here. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to smear it around the edge here. So that's it. That's just about all you need. And less is more in this application. It's just to create a fine surface between the things. Otherwise, it's just going to pick up dirt, you know? And that's pretty much it, guys. Still hear that backlash? Yep, everything's good. So while we have it up here, why don't we take a look at what's inside each one of these pelican cases. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and weigh it. And I have no idea how much it weighs, so that should be really interesting. So what we got here is we got the two Trampa motor controllers, and what each of these guys do is essentially control the motor. They send the signal to each respective motor, and there's 4 of them, one on each side. And so what we got here is we have a GPS module, and that's plugged into this device over here. And it's kind of hard to see from that angle, but this is a VESC Express, and that logs data. And what we got under the cardboard is to protect against the little fingers here. You know, these hitting, this is this is like the most important part. This is what is doing all the work. It keeps these two motor controllers happy. And essentially what's going on here, I'm going to give you guys a close-up, but basically this is doing a bunch of crazy math, a bunch of crazy robotics math, a bunch of safety math, a bunch of just everything. And it's the heart of this whole project. So I'm going to take a closer look now. It's an extremely simple one-button interface. Just hold this button here. You see how it turns red? That's to activate. It immediately deactivates because there's no kill switch in it right now, because it's on the table. And the other button is just a reset button. That's literally all it does. Probably never need to use that. There's no reason it should ever need it. In fact, this is just a prototype board, so the production one might not have that. So to calibrate it, you hold it down until it goes white again, and let go. There you go. And that's it. Simple one-button interface. This side is not particularly interesting. All we really have is the charging board. Oh boy, now the fun part. Gotta pick this thing up and weigh it. And it's always fun to get on and off the table, so let's see how that goes. Oh boy. $215. Let's do one more. $215. Okay. Oh, the mic wasn't working. I wonder how long that was the case. Well, at least I have the onboard mic, so I'm sure I'm glad I set this up the whole time, but thank you so much for watching, and I would appreciate a subscription as well. Have a good one.